Hi there! In this video we are using student grade gouache to paint a chicken. Hi guys, it's Anna here. Welcome or welcome back if you're new to this channel. In this video I am going to paint a chicken using gouache. This gouache is it's supposed to be pigmented and whatnot. It says in the cover, in the packaging, but it's like student's grade. I mean, I bought this for my daughter. It's supposed to be like more pigmented and whatnot, but I wanted to try it, and I kind of liked it. I chose this chicken. I got the photo reference on Pinterest. I will leave it in the link, in a link below in the description. And first of all, I roughly sketched the chicken, and you saw me starting with just an oval shape or a round shape, and then kind of mapping her neck, and then the eyes, then the beak. Just really observe what you're drawing. Don't try to see a chicken. Try to see shapes, like this big shape. Maybe if you're watching me draw, maybe you can understand the shapes better than just watching like a real thing. Like if you see a chicken, it's kind of hard to abstract yourself to see shapes, maybe mainly if you're doing that for the first time, or you're still a beginner in art. When I say chicken, I say everything. Like everything could be transformed into or portrayed as shapes, and that's what we try to do. And there are simple shapes like triangles and circles and whatnot, and we try to use those. But you know, when you're trying to do some organic things, they have more organic shapes. Well, not an orange or anything that is organic and has a very circular form, but I mean, a chicken or like an animal or a human, it certainly has like round shapes, and you can see somewhere triangles and whatnot, but sometimes you have like round shapes. But try to see the shape. That's the most important thing. Also, when you're trying to create like here I am trying to see if I want to include the tail or not. It's fun because she's like peeking. She was like peeking, like hello, for the photo. That's why I thought it was fun to include her tail, but then I didn't. Then the neck looked very large, so I shortened it. So it doesn't have to be exact, and you can do the chicken exactly as you want. So it's not. And this is just a sketchbook, not looking for perfection, but it's good for practice, you know. Just try to do your best, even though it's a sketchbook. Here I kind of speeded the painting 2 times, like it's not real time, but it's sped, so it doesn't take like over an hour. But I wanted to include like the mixing because I think that's important, so you can understand. Like I just had this small pack, like a student grade small pack. It just has 5 colors. It has the blue, the magenta, the yellow, and the black and white. And with that you can achieve a lot of colors, and actually that's very good when you're starting, because then you understand how to mix like darker colors, brighter colors, like you can have how to get a brown from these colors, and how to get an orange, how to get a green. Not in this case, I'm not using green on this one, but the rest it's there. So with just this little package, it cost me like, I don't know, definitely under €5. So it's very cheap. You get like this. Let me see, it's 5 milliliters tube, 12 milliliters tube, so it's a big tube. You just squeeze what you want or you think you want, and just mix the colors you need. It's very friendly for beginners. So, and also this sketchbook is very small, which is a good thing when you're a beginner. You just like start small, so you can do more. Like you can do a lot of portraits here. This sketchbook is it's Talon's one. I'll leave all the materials in the description. It's a very small one, and gouache doesn't take a lot of water, so it doesn't do well with watercolor, but it does very well with gouache. So it's a very good and cheap way to practice. My paint brushes aren't that expensive either. I bought it like or online, or maybe in the Chinese store. So it's not, they're not very, I have like a few that are expensive, but not the ones I'm using right now. For these kind of details and for gouache, I also like those brushes for nails, because they're very tiny and they're very cheap. Like you can get like 5 brushes for €2 or something. It's very cheap, so you can have a lot of fun and practice a lot using these. So what I am doing with, and you can do that with gouache, is like applying like more kind of diluted first layers, because all you want to do is like almost stain the paper, and for that you want to have like a very fluid consistency. Then I am going to apply somewhat thicker layers, but I didn't even did that much. So because there's a problem with gouache, it can reactivate the under layers. So you use the watery layers before, so it gets kind of absorbed by the paper, and then the later layers should be like less watery, less fluid, or more consistent, so it lays on top of the ones that were kind of absorbed. Yeah, but if you want, you can do like a wash afterwards. I did that in here. Wash is just a little bit of ink and a lot of water, but you just have to be very careful when you put your paintbrush down. Don't like scrub the paper or anything. Just lay it on top very gently, so you can layer like that. It's not a problem. I didn't see a lot of lifting on this one, a little bit, but I like these paints. They are vibrant, they are, and remember that gouache always, when it dries, it's a very this is a very unique medium to me. When it dries, it changes a little bit of the color. Usually it gets a little whiter. It gets this milky look. I guess that's when you have more binder than pigment, because I've heard that like very good gouache, like Holbein gouache, doesn't do that much. I mean, the colors stay very vibrant anyway. But with the gouache I used to use, because it's student grade, there's a little bit of whitening. And there's another thing that is different with gouache is that darker colors tend to dry lighter, and wow, I'm moving. Darker colors tend to dry lighter, and lighter colors tend to dry darker. So when you're putting them on, you don't know exactly how they're going to be. Like, there's a part in here that I mix a dark, but instead of using like reds for the base of the dark, I use blues, and when it dried, the blue on the beak, I use that on the beak of the chicken, and when it dried, the blue was so evident. Oh my god, it wasn't when I put it down. But I kind of, first of all, I kind of liked it, and I wouldn't try it by myself. Like, I would try to copy somewhat what's in the image, and I liked the blue there. But anyway, the gouache is it's a very forgiving medium. It's like, in that sense, it's like acrylics, because you can layer and layer and layer, and it's opaque, so you don't like a color, just paint with another one on top. So it just, as long as you, it's this color I was talking about, this becomes very blue in the end. It's kind of blue already, but then it when it dries, it gets lighter, and the blue is very evident. So when you don't like a color, you can just apply another color on top. Just make sure that the layers you're applying have the same consistency, or are more consistent than the layer you applied below. Otherwise, you risk that the layers get mixed, and that's not what you want. You don't want to lift what's there. If it's a mistake or not, you just don't want to lift it. So I kept mixing, and as you can see, like, I have this big blob of magenta, and then if I want it to be darker, or more purplish, I use a little bit of blue. If I want it to be like more orange, or I use a little bit of yellow. If I want it to be brighter, I put a little bit of white. And if I want it to be really dark, I kind of use, I like that dark brown that is right beside the red blob. It's like it's just the magenta, the blue, and the yellow, and you can mix and see what kind of colors you're getting from that mix. If you want, you can add a little bit of black. It's not a problem. You can change values with black. It's not a problem to me, at least. So yeah, in this phase, so then all you have to do is like look at what you're watching, and don't think of it as a chicken. Just like this I'm gonna call it an ad, because I don't know how you call it. In Portuguese we call it the crista. So that red part on top of his head, you see, like, you look at the picture and the photo reference, and you think, is this dark red? Is it a lighter red? Is it more orange? Is it more pink? And then you just adjust the tones on the palette and paint it where you see it. It's just like that. If you trust this process, when you step back or take a picture, it's like magic. You were just painting little zones, and when you step back, it's a chicken, or chicken Christ. It's not the Christ. Christ is that one on the cross. Yeah. So then all you have to do is like look at your reference, and you don't have to copy it exactly, because this is not exactly like the reference, and it's just an exercise. So yeah, then you have details and whatnot, and you have to understand that this chicken is like mainly white, but she has like this strange it's like the feathers of her face kind of merged together, and you can see like a very dark skin, like dark red skin, like the ones you see right under her eyes. And you know that's underneath, that layer is underneath, so you get that color, you paint it on, and then you put white on top, and with gouache you can absolutely do that. And then it's all about details, and of course the last parts of it would be like the shiny parts, like white. Gouache is very good for the white, the shininess of not the shininess, it's very opaque, so the white stands out very much, mainly when it dries. And it really looks shiny. I love that effect. Although, and right now I'm using a brush that is like a liner. It's called a rigger, I think. It's very, very thin with long I don't know the name. I'm thinking about feathers. It's not feathers or bristles. It's bristles? I don't know. But see, right now it looks like I'm exaggerating that deep color. But then I come over with whites, and also it's not dry. Don't forget that the darker colors dry lighter. See how the beak looks very blue right now. It wasn't that blue before, so I'm adjusting the values and the tone maybe a little bit, and it's very forgiving. You just can go over and over and change what you did if you don't like it after it dries. So yeah, another thing you can do is like swatch every single little color you do. I don't do that. Okay, so and I was talking about the whites. It's very good. It does wonderful shines. But I also use like a Posca pen, because that's just, for me, that's just the perfect white. And I use it a little bit, not too much. I kind of use it more in the eyes and some feathers, like to try and hide like that, those dark spots on her face. Not to hide, it's to cover. They had to be there. You need to layer over something. See, right now I'm using like the gouache, and you kind of see a glimpse of a shine. But then I go over with Posca pen, and it gets really, really white, and that's really cool. And this white, when it's being applied, then it dries a little duller. It's not that bright, but it has to do with consistency. Like if you water it down, it dries a little duller, and if you almost apply it from the tube, it gets like really white, like what I'm doing right now. It gets really, really white. That's really cool for these effects, and it's so cool to be able to put white over other colors. It's just, yeah, you can't do that with watercolor, not at all. Not really with pastel, just a little bit. So, and in this case I am tapping down because it's too bright and it wasn't watered down enough. So you can do that also. You can put your finger on it, and it takes away the vibrancy a little bit. So now I'm using my Posca pen just to give it some shiny, to make it more shiny. And right now it picked up a little bit of yellow, but then I clean the pen up and it becomes really, really white, and I like that. And then just don't overdo the white, because if it's everywhere, it's nowhere. So yeah, I kind of went for the beak too, because it should be shiny, because it's protruding, and it also is, it's like this, it's reflective kind of, the structure. So then it's all about your taste and what you're gonna do. So I was really focused on the face, and then I realized, oh, this body is not really finished. So I kind of, it looked very light. It had to be more, this wasn't the right value for me. It had to be toned down. And yeah, then I do some lights. If you look at the reference photo, is the best way to guide you, and then it's all about your taste also. You don't have to do exactly what. And then I thought she was very white on that part of the head, so I added just a few spots. As from now on, it's just about your personal taste and think and knowing when it's done. It's very hard for an artist to know when it's done. But yeah, this is pretty much what I did. I hope this helped you. I hope it helped to see me mix some colors. I hope you give this a try. It's really cheap. You don't have to have like huge materials or spend a lot of time. This is like sped up, but this is 2 sittings because I didn't have time to do this in just 1 sitting. So okay, I painted like 20 minutes in one day and like another 20 minutes in another day. So you can take it slowly and do your thing just, and you'll be so surprised with the result and you'll be so happy. I believe you will. And there's another thing you can do if you don't like to draw or not comfortable with or with measures. You can always line, like use a bit of, what you call it, I don't know, it's not parchment paper, is it? I don't know, but just copy the image and like transfer the image and to the paper and just practice the painting. Although it's very important for you to practice sketching, if you want to also practice painting, you can do it separately, meaning you can, it's my mom, oh nice, you can practice your painting and then practice your sketching too. So I will leave you with this chicken. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give me the thumbs up. Till next time, bye bye.